From the outside, Lisa Marie Presley's life seemed one of glamour and legacy, being the daughter of Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. But behind the scenes, a dark story was unfolding, one that would haunt her childhood and remain hidden for years. At just 10 years old, Lisa Marie endured a shocking experience that left her scarred, one she would later describe as a deep betrayal by someone who held a trusted place in her family's inner circle. This revelation, finally coming to light, raises unsettling questions. Could this really have happened? And if so, how was it kept quiet for so long? Today, we dive into this hidden chapter of Lisa Marie's life, exposing a story that not only shocked those closest to her, but challenges everything we thought we knew about the Presley family. Stay with us as we uncover the full truth behind this heartbreaking claim. Number 7. Lisa Marie's life. Lisa Marie Presley's life was anything but ordinary. Born into the spotlight as the only child of Elvis Presley, she grew up surrounded by the glamour and intrigue that came with being part of rock royalty. Yet, with all the fame and privilege, there were deep, underlying challenges. Losing her father at the tender age of 9 left a void that nothing could fill, thrusting her into a world where she had to navigate immense loss and public scrutiny at a young age. The intense pressure of living up to her father's legacy, combined with the weight of her own personal struggles, made her journey a complicated one. Lisa Marie was not only dealing with grief, but also with a sense of isolation, knowing she would always be compared to her legendary father. It was a heavy burden for any child, let alone one in the public eye. After Elvis's death, Lisa Marie moved to Los Angeles to live with her mother, Priscilla, marking a major shift in her young life. Away from the familiar surroundings of Graceland, she had to adapt to a new environment and a very different lifestyle under Priscilla's roof. This transition was challenging, especially as she tried to adjust to the dynamic of living full-time with her mother, with whom she shared a complex and often strained relationship. In this new setting, she was also introduced to her mother's social circle, a group that would come to play a crucial role in shaping the next few years of her life. Little did she know, these early days in Los Angeles would bring about more than just a change of scenery. They would set the stage for events that would leave an indelible mark on her childhood and haunt her memories for years to come. Number 6. The alleged abuser and his connection to Priscilla. During those formative years after moving in with her mother, Lisa Marie was introduced to a new figure who would become a significant presence in her life: Mike Edwards, Priscilla's boyfriend. Edwards, a charming actor with a charismatic personality, quickly became an integral part of the Presley family's world. Known for his role in the film Mommy Dearest, he was far from just a casual acquaintance. To Lisa Marie, he was someone who brought a sense of stability and a hint of fatherly warmth during a time when she was still mourning her own father. This was a man her mother deeply trusted and loved, and over time, Lisa Marie found herself looking up to him too. His presence felt familiar, a source of comfort in a new life filled with constant adjustments. In the beginning, Edwards seemed to fit seamlessly into their lives, helping to ease the family's pain and playing a role that extended far beyond just being Priscilla's partner. The connection he built with both Priscilla and young Lisa Marie was one that appeared genuine, fostering a sense of trust and closeness that made him feel like family. For Lisa Marie, who was already struggling with the void left by her father, having someone who appeared to care for her was comforting. Edwards was often there in the Presley home, forming bonds that felt as real as family ties. Yet, beneath this seemingly innocent relationship, a darker story was lurking, waiting to come to light. The closeness they shared made what happened next all the more unsettling. When Lisa Marie eventually shared her account of those years, the betrayal she described was not only shocking, but hard to reconcile with the image of the man her family had trusted. It was a revelation that would challenge the foundation of the relationships she had with those closest to her and would leave lasting scars that only time could attempt to heal. Number 5. Lisa Marie's allegations in detail. In her memoir, Lisa Marie recalls a series of chilling incidents that began with an unexpected visit from Mike Edwards, her mother's boyfriend, in the dead of night. She described how Edwards would enter her room, initially under the pretense of checking in on her, but soon his actions crossed lines that no child should ever experience. As he sat beside her bed, he'd reach out in ways that felt wrong, his hand moving in ways that left her frightened and confused. For a child who had lost her father and was seeking comfort and security, this moment of trust turned into a nightmare. Edwards allegedly used this vulnerability to prey on her innocence, telling her things that sounded more like twisted lessons than words of reassurance. These midnight intrusions would become memories etched in her mind, the kind no one should carry, especially not a child. The words Lisa Marie used to describe these encounters in her memoir bring an unsettling reality to what she endured. She recalls Edwards running his fingers up her leg, whispering, "I'm going to teach you what's going to happen when you get older." He'd place his hand on her chest, telling her that a man would touch her there one day, and then his hand would move lower, insisting this was all part of what life would bring. Lisa Marie wrote, "He was putting his hand on my chest and saying, 'A man's going to touch here, there.'" Each recollection carries a heartbreaking weight, painted with words that are hard to read but impossible to ignore. These aren't just memories, they're the kind of scars that cut deep, leaving emotional bruises that words struggle to capture. The young girl who had once seen him as a trusted figure suddenly found herself at the mercy of a man who took advantage of her vulnerability in the worst way. These alleged incidents weren't isolated, fleeting moments. They continued over time, haunting her childhood and impacting the way she viewed the world around her. Each encounter left her with a growing sense of dread and betrayal, chipping away at any innocence she had left. As she describes in her memoir, Edwards would return again and again, his actions escalating as he felt emboldened by the silence that followed. The prolonged trauma affected her deeply, creating a sense of mistrust and confusion that would shadow her for years to come. These early experiences shaped the woman she would eventually become, leaving her with an unresolved pain that haunted her well into adulthood. The impact of these dark moments was profound, as the betrayal of someone so close shattered her sense of safety, forcing her to carry the weight of an unimaginable burden through her life. Number 4. Priscilla's reaction to Lisa Marie's claims. When Lisa Marie mustered the courage to tell her mother what was happening, she hoped for comfort and protection, yet the response she received was far from what she expected. She recalled how, upon hearing her daughter's account, Priscilla initially seemed shocked and angered. Bursting into Edward's room, Priscilla confronted him, and for a brief moment, Lisa Marie thought justice would be served. But as the dust settled, the response was not what any young girl in her position would have wanted or needed. Rather than taking swift action, Priscilla appeared to handle the situation quietly, which left Lisa Marie feeling exposed and uncertain. What Lisa needed in that moment was the fierce defense and unconditional protection of a mother's love. Yet Priscilla's response left her feeling vulnerable, as though her safety was somehow negotiable. The confrontation with Edwards brought a hollow sense of closure. Lisa remembers Priscilla calling her into the room where Edwards sat on the edge of the bed, looking remorseful, though it felt more like a performance than genuine regret. Edwards offered an apology, one that felt empty and insincere, even to a young Lisa Marie. He attempted to justify his actions, claiming that his behavior was normal in Europe, that he was merely teaching her what to expect as she grew older. For a man who had been a trusted figure, his explanation was chilling, revealing a twisted sense of reality that Lisa Marie found deeply disturbing. This so-called apology only served to deepen her feelings of betrayal as she watched her mother seemingly accept his words at face value, allowing him to stay close despite what he'd done. Edward's rationalization was not just inadequate, it was deeply insulting, leaving Lisa feeling unheard and doubting whether her mother truly believed her. The emotional impact of Priscilla's response on Lisa Marie was profound. Rather than feeling supported, Lisa felt dismissed, as if her pain wasn't enough to change her mother's mind or influence her actions. For a young girl grappling with such trauma, her mother's reaction left her feeling isolated and powerless, as though her voice and her experience held little weight. This moment became a defining one for Lisa, imprinting in her mind that even in her most vulnerable state, the trust she placed in those closest to her could be broken. It was a realization that shaped her relationships, her sense of self-worth, and her ability to trust others. The woman who should have been her protector had, in a way, failed to provide the sanctuary she desperately needed, leaving Lisa Marie to navigate the shadows of her own pain alone. Number 3. Edward's denial and response. In the wake of Lisa Marie's shocking revelations, Mike Edwards publicly denied all allegations, dismissing them as outright fabrications intended to sensationalize her memoir. He asserted that the accusations against him were false and constructed purely for the sake of garnering attention and sales. Edwards expressed shock and dismay, stating that he never crossed any boundaries with Lisa Marie and that he had always been like a father figure to her. Claiming his innocence, he lamented the pain these allegations had brought upon him, saying he felt blindsided by a story he insisted was entirely fictional. For those who once saw Edwards as a close family friend, his denial painted a picture of a man who felt betrayed himself, positioning him as someone wrongly accused by a family he once held dear. In his response, Edwards went further, casting doubt on Lisa Marie's stability at the time, implying that her emotional struggles clouded her perception of the past. He insisted that Lisa Marie was going through a difficult and turbulent phase, suggesting that her memory of events was unreliable. According to Edwards, her accounts reflected not his actions, but rather her own mental and emotional state. By framing her as unstable, he attempted to shift the focus away from his own alleged behavior and onto her, casting her as someone who might have misinterpreted his actions or been influenced by emotional struggles in her life. This approach to defending himself not only questioned her credibility, but also raised questions about his willingness to confront the real issue at hand. For Edwards, this strategy seemed like his way to deflect responsibility and cast doubt on her accusations. However, excerpts from Edwards' own memoir cast a haunting shadow over his claims of innocence. In his book, he openly reflected on his time spent with Priscilla and Lisa Marie, describing his relationship with Lisa Marie in terms that, in hindsight, felt disturbingly close to what she later alleged. One passage recounts a moment at the dinner table, where he describes a casual brush of Lisa Marie's knee against his hand, confessing that it sent waves of desire through him. He wrote that he was craving Lisa sexually, admitting he'd sometimes watch the clock, eagerly waiting for her return from school. These statements, which once might have appeared as harmless or playful, took on a far more sinister tone in light of Lisa Marie's accusations. Edward's words became unsettling echoes of a darker truth, amplifying the discomfort around his denial and deepening the lingering doubts about his relationship with the young girl he claimed to view as family. Number 2. Third-party testimonies and family response. Amid the storm of allegations, Mike Edwards' daughter, Caroline Van Zant, came forward to defend her father, firmly denying any possibility of misconduct. She described the years she spent with Lisa Marie during her father's relationship with Priscilla, recalling a close friendship between them that felt more like sisterhood. According to Caroline, they shared secrets and typical teenage frustrations, often confiding in each other about their lives. She stated that not once in all those years did Lisa Marie ever hint or suggest any inappropriate behavior from her father. To her, the accusations felt painfully personal, as she couldn't reconcile the caring father she knew with the image Lisa Marie painted in her memoir. She even mentioned keeping letters and notes from those days, none of which, she claimed, gave any indication of the alleged abuse. Caroline's statements served as a steadfast defense of her father, painting him as someone who would never cross such lines and dismissing Lisa Marie's claims as unfathomable. Priscilla Presley's stance, however, remains a point of complexity and tension. Known for her fierce protectiveness over her family, Priscilla had always been perceived as someone who would never tolerate any harm coming to her children. Friends and family often described her as vigilant, a mother who placed her children's safety above all else. This unwavering commitment to her family's well-being stood in stark contrast to Lisa Marie's account, where Priscilla's response to her daughter's claims appeared distant, even dismissive. For those who knew her, it was hard to imagine Priscilla ignoring or downplaying any threat to her daughter's safety, especially from someone so close to them. Yet Lisa Marie's memoir painted a different picture, one where Priscilla's actions, or lack thereof, left her daughter feeling exposed and unprotected. This conflicting image adds an air of ambiguity, leaving a lingering question about whether Priscilla truly believed her daughter's story or if the situation was simply too complex for her to confront fully. Number 1. The impact on Lisa Marie and her legacy. The dark shadow cast by these early experiences would go on to shape much of Lisa Marie's adult life, especially in her relationships and sense of self-worth. The betrayal she felt as a child, compounded by the lack of protection from those she trusted most, left her with scars that proved difficult to heal. She struggled with a lingering sense of isolation, finding it hard to fully trust others, even those who professed to love her. This inner turmoil often manifested in her personal relationships, creating cycles of distance and conflict. Lisa Marie's marriages, each ending in heartbreak, mirrored the unresolved pain from her past. She was constantly searching for a sense of security and unconditional love that had eluded her as a child. Friends and family described her as someone haunted by ghosts, fighting to find peace amid the trauma that refused to fade with time. Lisa Marie's death in January 2023 marked a tragic end to a life filled with both immense privilege and profound suffering. She left behind her daughter, Riley Keough, who has taken on the responsibility of preserving her mother's legacy while grappling with these newly surfaced revelations. Riley, an actress known for her role in Daisy Jones and the Six, has shown resilience in navigating the complexities of her family's history, understanding that her mother's life was marked by both great love and deep wounds. In the wake of Lisa Marie's passing, Riley has become the new voice of the Presley legacy, balancing her career and personal life while honoring the memory of her mother and her legendary grandfather. As these details of Lisa Marie's past emerge, Riley faces the challenge of upholding a legacy that is both celebrated and shadowed by pain, making her own path through a history that has always been larger than life. These revelations have inevitably reshaped how the Presley family is viewed in the public eye, adding a layer of darkness to their already complex story. For decades, the Presley name has been synonymous with fame, talent, and an almost mythical level of influence on popular culture. Yet, beneath the glamour, this new chapter unveils a family legacy marked by unspoken trauma and unresolved pain. Lisa Marie's account of her childhood not only invites empathy, but also provokes difficult questions about the pressures and vulnerabilities that come with being part of such an iconic family. As the public grapples with these revelations, the Presley legacy becomes more nuanced, revealing that even the most celebrated families carry secrets and struggles. For fans and onlookers, these insights add depth to the Presley story, but they also serve as a reminder of the complex, often hidden lives of those who live in the public eye. The family's legacy will forever be remembered, not only for their contributions to music and culture, but also for the haunting revelations that have now come to light. We'd love to hear what you think about these revelations. Do you believe these hidden chapters add a new layer to the Presley family's legacy? How do you feel this impacts the image we've long held of such an iconic family? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Let's open up a discussion on the complexities of fame, family, and the secrets that sometimes come to light. Your perspective matters, so don't hesitate to join in.